Okay, so when setting tripods up around a treatment table, some things that you'll want to consider are the height and the angle in which you work with. If you have the camera tripod set up too low in proportion to the table, you're simply going to get a perspective, a profile of the person on the table. If you set it up too high, it may be too flat. So that's why using two cameras can be really ideal. And you'll really just want to make sure that you have considered the height of the camera and tripod and the angle of which it's facing. Sometimes you'll want a wide shot so that you can show not only the person being treated on the table, but also show the physical therapist and the way that they maneuver themselves around the table. I take one tripod and extend the legs fully, making sure that both the bigger and the thinner legs are fully extended on all three sides. Once they're all locked down, you'll notice that you have the tripod head, which has a plate which is removable. The easiest way to attach the camera is to remove the tripod plate by flipping the switch on the back to release the tripod plate. Once the tripod plate is released, you'll notice that it has two parts on it. It has a little piece at the very front which has no threads on it, and then in the very center there's a metal pole sticking up that has threads on it. The threaded pole connects to the camera, and the one in the front simply aligns the lens so that the camera doesn't rotate back and forth. So to connect this, all you do is look on the bottom of the camera and you'll see the same two little opposite holes. So connect the plate via the hole with the threads, and then twist that down. You'll see they fit in nicely together. Okay, once that's locked in place, you'll notice the tripod really can't rotate too much. So in order to connect it, all you'll need to do is flip the release plate that connected the tripod plate in the first place to the left. Put the lens end of the plate in first, and then let the back fall in as well. And then once it's in, you let go of the release mechanism and then push it to the right, and you'll hear it sort of give a little bit of resistance and then connect. And then if you just pull up on the entire system, you'll notice that the camera just cannot let go. So I really find a nice rule of thumb to be to pull up on the camera and make sure it's connected, so that way when you walk away from it, the camera doesn't fall 4 feet to a hard floor. So once the camera and the tripod are in place, I open the LCD screen and flip it towards the table so that I can see it as I'm actually doing my setup at the very least, sometimes even when doing the maneuvers. Turn the camera to the record mode, and the camera will show you what the lens is going to see. Make sure at this point that the camera is all the way zoomed to the widest mechanism possible, so take the switch on top of the camera and push it towards the W or towards the wide angle symbol on top of the Canon cameras. At this point, I sometimes like to take the tripod and make it really tall and then lock it down. And then I will take the bar on the back of the camera, and by twisting it a bit to the left, it loosens the entire pan tilt mechanism, making it so that I can not only pan back and forth, but tilt the camera as I see fit. So at this point, if you simply walk over to the table, you can get a good view of what you would be seeing. At this point, I can't see my body at all within the camera shot, but I can perfectly see the table from one end to the other. So this would be a nice shot to show just the maneuvers with my hands in the shot, or to show just the patient. I may take another camera and set it up a little bit more to the side, or even quite further back, to make sure that I can see around the table and see the physical therapist and how they interact with the environment. Setting up two tripods will allow you to get two different angles simultaneously, so that you can get sort of a television feel where camera angles switch back and forth as if there are two cameras recording simultaneously. Sometimes it's even wise when you have 3 cameras, or even just 2 cameras with one being a wide shot. If you have an extra partner that you're working with who can be a cameraman or woman, you can have them hold the camera and walk around as footage is being recorded. If this person is doing handheld footage like this, you're going to need to request that they be extremely steady-handed, because there's very little that's worse than very shaky video footage. It really does have a poor look to it. But this way the person can maneuver in and out and get very tight shots on specific portions of the table that really aren't even possible from tripods. So you can come over just over the top of the tripod, of the table, and get nice shots of lots of different angles of the action going on.